Hi everyone, I'm Mark Connolly, and today I wanted to invite you into my kitchen and show you a recipe that took me a little while to figure out. Bulletproof coffee. Now a lot of people make their bulletproof coffee simply by adding a bit of grass-fed ghee and whipping that into their coffee, or they use a coconut oil, an MCT coconut oil, medium chain triglyceride coconut oil. Uh, I took it another step further, and what I did was add a bit of chocolate to it because I wanted something a little more special, little more treat and sweet. So I added 100% cocoa to the mix, and so that gives me my mocha coffee in the morning. And I love this recipe, and I hope that you will try it and that you will let me know how it turns out. Now, today's blog is not really about me explaining ketogenics. I will explain a couple of things during the process, but it really is just to share the recipe. There's a lot of information on the internet. Look for the author Maria Emmerich and go to her website. She's got a lot of great intel. But there's a lot of bad information too, so just make sure you're going to people who really do know what they're doing. And later in the game, as I continue my video blogs, I will get a little more information to you on ketogenics and how to get to it and start to burn fats instead of glucose. Anyhow, to make this is pretty simple. What we use is 100% cocoa, unsweetened. And today I'm going to be using the Hershey's brand, and that's really a fallback. I usually have a organic version, which I get at natural grocers, but I happen to be out of that, and I just was in the mood to make this today since I'm out, and so for next week I'll be not having my organic. The other ingredient is organic coconut milk. Now this is a native forest product. It is organic. There's no guar gum in it, which I prefer. The one thing about this, though, is that sometimes in the refining of the coconut into the milk, it is either really smooth or sometimes not so smooth. So what we do to get over that hurdle is we're going to heat this just a bit while we make the coffee. You also have stevia to bring the sweetness. This is sugar-free, all natural, and it is organic. And it's a relative measurement depending on how sweet you like your things. You can go less than I recommend, you can go more, but that's a trial and error for you. Vanilla. This is a Madagascar vanilla, which is, again, organic. And you're just going to add a little bit of this to the product. Finally, MCT coconut oil, medium chain triglycerides. Now, when it comes to what the liver prefers to burn when you're burning ketogenically, is that it prefers medium chain triglycerides. It's like, let's say, raw sugar if you're burning glucose. It's the first thing the body looks to pull in and use as energy. Now, long chain triglycerides would be things like grass-fed butter, and that's a second choice. The long chain triglycerides are the second choice. So once the liver runs out of the MCTs, it goes to the LCTs, and that is when you will be taking the weight off, okay? So salt is also one of the ingredients, and I happen to make my own blend of salt, which consists of a kosher salt, also there's an ancient cooking salt that I use, and there is a black volcanic salt, and I mix all these together, and that's my finishing salt for my kitchen. Typically, I have other salts that I use. Every different salt that you use will have a different flavor profile and different minerals. So just experiment with some fun finishing salts. So, without further ado, I'm going to readjust this camera so that we can see what's going on in the pot. All right? All right, so first things first, turn on the oven, not the oven, turn on the stove, and I put it at about halfway, medium heat. I'm going to open the cans of organic coconut milk. So just get all that coconut goodness out. And this batch, pretty soft. It's looking pretty good. All right. That's in and it's warming up. While that takes place, I'm going to go ahead and get a whisk and whisk this so that I can get a nice even consistency to it. Now in a minute I'm going to use a burr mixer, or what they call an immersion mixer, to do what I need to do there. And that'll bring everything together really tight. So the next thing is the Hershey's cocoa. And the cocoa is a tablespoon plus a teaspoon. Next we have a ½ teaspoon of vanilla. And if you buy this size, you can just use the cap, because this is 1/4 to 1/2, somewhere in there. And a pinch of salt, about yay. 1½ teaspoons of stevia. So we'll go one first. I'm grabbing a ½ teaspoon here. Baboom. Okay. ½ teaspoon stevia. And then the MCT coconut oil. And that is 5 tablespoons. Now this is just starting to heat up. And so it's time to bring the burr mixer in. All right. So we're going to put that right in the chocolate. This can get a little messy. So I'm doing that on low right now. And next I'm going to take it up to high. And that, my dear friends, is bulletproof coffee. Let me bring her back up. All right, so you're a little higher than you were before. So the next thing you do is to put it into a mason jar. Now, if you're going to be holding this for a couple of weeks, I would recommend that you refrigerate it. This is about a 5, 6, or 7 day supply, depending on how much you put in your coffee. Again, preference. And but I usually use about a cup. So I make 3 cups of coffee, which is 3 cups. And then I add 1 cup of my ketogenic bulletproof mocha. So this is now warmed through, and so it goes into the mason jar. and there's a little bit left over. That'll go into a different container. Now I'm going to let this cool at room temperature for a while, and then I will put the top on it and put it away and begin using it tomorrow. Please do make the recipe. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a line. I'm a little busy these days, but I will respond at my earliest opportunity. And do the research on keto. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. So, Bulletproof Coffee by Mark Connolly. Be well. Bon appetit.